Hello everyone. Today we are talking about preparation resources and building your system design vocabulary. So, like, imagine you walk into a system design interview and every technology name you mention demonstrates deep understanding and not just buzzword knowledge. So today we are to build we are building a strategic preparation approach that goes beyond memorization. So we all been there, and it's a struggle to articulate them under pressure. But we are going to do a step in fixing it today. So the power of technical vocabulary. So having a concrete example, let's say you are saying Amazon S3 or instance some file system. There is a signal that to enter you that you have a practical knowledge. So the difference between saying we need a DB versus we'll use Postgre for ACID compliance. It's the difference between sounding like a student and more like experienced engineer. So this specific vocabulary demonstrates that you worked with real systems, not just study them. And you need to know your technologies internally. So it's not enough to say just Kafka, and you need to understand the partitions, the consumer groups, the pub sub patterns. So you don't need to have like PhD knowledge, but the test is simple. Can you explain to your own words? Can you explain to some senior engineer and explain why Kafka uses pull model instead of push, or try to explain it like simply so there is enough understanding to do it well for an interview. So for preparation areas, uh, you shouldn't focus only on theory or only on practice. So you should do the both. So you will fail if you have just communication, no technical depth. But if you have knowledge and communication, that will be success. So you will need to show and build both systematically. So as you think of your knowledge as a building, trade-off, consistency models, and caching are one of blocks of foundations. So high-level patterns helps you recognize problems you've seen before. So low-level design matters for some roles, not all, but for more senior backend roles, you need to know database internals, but for product engineering roles, focus time on system architecture instead. So one of the most useful things you can do is mock interviews. So these are most effective preparation method available. So you'll have real condition, your knowledge will show your gaps, and your communication confidence be shown all at once. So think about this way, and this will be one successful way to prepare. So there is also communities which are free if you don't want to spend money, so don't let the cost be your excuse to practice. So as we all know, not everybody has time to prepare. So let's say for emergency plan you have like defined number of questions and number of, which for each you need some specific minutes defined. So with that, you need to have high frequency of topics, like to have definition, what you want to practice. So go ahead and see some high frequency topics like load balancers, caches, epic gateways, and maybe not it's not ideal, but it's definitely better than going unprepared. So try to use some tools to maximize your coverage in minimum time. So let's say you want to be specific. So let's say you want to use Amazon S3 and for durability and static content, Hadoop for big data processing, messaging Kafka, high throughput events, RabbitMQ for reliable message queues, caching Redis, Memcache for simple key values, CDNs for geographic distribution for protocols, HTTP for web APIs, WebRTC for real-time communication, gRPC for efficient microservice communication. So give a specific use case for each technology and explain why and not just what. So these patterns appear everywhere. So in every system design interview, load balancing, like round robin simple to implement, weighted handles errors in different capacities, geographic routing reduces latency, then database sharding. This is what you do when your database can't fit one machine. So replication, master slave for read scaling, master for write scaling, CDNs bring content closer to the user. So it's a simple concept, but big impact on performance. Important algorithms, consistent caching. This handily decides which server store which movie. So this it's production. So capacity estimates, and this one is this spec of envelope math that shows you think like an engineer. So cap theorem. So you can have all like consistency, availability, and partition tolerance all at once. So you need to understand the trade-offs and security, design it in mind from start. So these concepts can help separate more senior engineers. To effective study timing methods. So study 1 2 weeks before your interview to be fresh and not remember because you forget and be recent enough to apply. Always build your foundation first before attempting advanced topics. So always review basics, and consistency beats intensity, and daily practice beats weekend cramming every single time. So use what you learn immediately in practice problems. So knowledge without application fades. Practice with mock. So practice articulating complex ideas in simple terms. So try to explain, uh, and your explanation of load balancing should be like clear to your grandmother. So time management is crucial. So it's really fast. So you need to practice with timer and treat your interviewer as a teammate and not adversary. So you're solving problem together, create a feedback loop, and each session should make you measurably better for the next one. preparation mistakes to avoid. So don't just memorize everything. So this will collapse when somebody asks why. And also don't study too early because your knowledge will fade out without practice. And don't be silent because knowledge in your head needs to come out like smoothly. Don't obsess over edge cases. mm, Master the fundamentals first, and sometimes like candidates nail complex but fail on basic load balancing. So don't always master the fundamentals first. So have study research structured, technical papers with deep dives like mine may produce, batch conference talks that can be interesting for war stories, as there is like examples from prod. Also try to apply what you learn immediately and like mix theory and knowledge. So when the time comes in your final, review your checklist to make sure you haven't missed anything critical and practice with similar problems to what you'll face at your target company. So also try to come to the interview sharp. So I know sometimes you're not single responsible person, but don't sacrifice sleep like to try to learn a night before and trust your preparation. And it's that's time when you want to execute. So these are some of the indicators that you can know in advance. So you can explain system without hesitation or long pauses. Your communication flows naturally, so it will be smooth and not forced. You finish design problems with time spare for question and optimization, so new problems will feel manageable, not overwhelming. When you hit these markers, you're ready to interview. So with these, you will have everything you need. So you need to have technical vocabulary to communicate effectively with any interviewer. So try to have your communication skills sharp from deliberate practice and have a systematic approach for tackling any system design problem. So have the confidence that comes through preparation. Not be just ready, be prepared to succeed. So go show them what you know. Cheers.